Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. In our previous video, we covered what are predefined functional interfaces. We also looked at one of the important predefined functional interface, that is predicate functional interface. We also learned its application and syntax. In case you have missed it, click on the I button on the top of the screen. Coming back to this video, in this video, we will see some more examples of predicate functional interfaces so that you can get a better understanding of the usage of predicates. So before wasting any time, let's get started. So consider an example. Suppose I am given a task to write a predicate which will filter the names that start with the alphabet P. So let's try to implement this solution. Here I have a class display name that starts with P. Now in this class I have a main method. Let's assume I have an array of string which contains different names. Now from this array I want to filter only those names that starts with the alphabet P. So here I will write a predicate that will tell me whether the string I have passed to it starts with P or not. So let's write a predicate for it. Predicate of type string that takes a string and checks the character its zeroth index. If that starts with P, it will return a true, else it will return a false. Now what I'll do is I'll iterate over this array of name, and for each name I will check if the name starts with P or not. If it starts with P, I will print it to the console, else I will not print it. So let's see this code into the actions. So here we have a display name that starts with P as the class name, and here we have a main method. In the main method I have a string array of names, and I have created a predicate where we are testing whether the name starts with P or not. That is, the first character starts with P or not. And after that what we are doing is we are iterating over the array of names, and for every name we are testing whether that name starts with P or not. So let's compile this code and see. Java C display name that starts with P dot Java, and I'll run it by Java display name that starts with P. So here only two names will get printed that starts with P. Consider another example. Suppose I am given a task to write a predicate which remove empty or null strings from the given list of strings. So let's try to implement this solution. Here I have a class remove empty or null strings which has a main method in it. Let's assume I have an array of string which contains different names. Now from this array I want to filter only those names that are not empty and are not null. So here I will write a predicate that will tell me whether the string I have passed to it is null or not, or whether the string I have passed to it is empty or not. So let's write a predicate for this. Predicate of type string that takes strings s and checks whether the string is null or the length of the string is 0. If the string that we have passed to this is null and empty, then it will return false, and if the string that we have passed to it is not null and not empty, then it will return a true. Now here I will not directly test and print it to the console. What I'll do is I'll maintain another list which is called the filtered list. So I have an array list filtered list to add the strings that are not null. Now I will iterate over the original array of names, and for each name I will test whether the name is empty or not, and if the name is not empty or not null, then only I'll add it to the filtered list. And here what I'll do is at last I'll print the filtered list, because this list is the list that contains my name that are not null and are not empty. So let's look at this code into the actions. So here you can see I have a class remove null and empty strings that has a main method inside it, and here I have a string array of names that has multiple names. There may be some empty names and there can be some null values as well. So I have created a predicate to check whether the string is null or empty. So here I have written the predicate which says which will return true if the string is not equals to null and string.length is not equals to 0. Again, I have created a filtered list to add all the names that are not empty to this list. So I'll iterate over each name to check if the names are null or empty. If they are not null or empty, I'll add it to the filtered list, and at last we'll print this filtered list. So our output should be multifarious, channel, Java 8 and playlist. All other empty and null strings should be removed. So let's see this by compiling the code. So I'll compile this code by Java C, remove lt or null strings.java, and I'll run it. So here you can see all the empty and null values are avoided, and only the values that were having some string into that and whose length was not equals to 0 are printed here. So this was it for today. In this video, we looked at some more examples on how we can use the predicate effectively. In our upcoming video, we will learn about the default and static methods that are present in the predicate functional interface and how we can use these methods for predicate chaining. So I hope you like this video. So do like, share and subscribe. Stay tuned for yet another videos on Java 8. Till then, take care, bye bye and thank you for watching.